So this person posted this comment in response to the TikTok I made about screaming and just letting it out. And they were like, this is super helpful and I love it, but I really hate it when I'm angry and I start to cry. And so many people in the comments just were like, oh my gosh, me too. I can't stand this. People judge me or think I'm weak. And it's just so infuriating. So let's talk about it. Why does this happen? First of all, it is incredibly common. I'd say that maybe our natural response when super angry is to maybe also get emotional and cry. Because think of when we were a child, like really young. Think of like toddlers. They cry the most when they're angry. And I say that because first things first, we can't change what we judge. If you haven't seen my videos on that, go watch them. So if we're judging ourselves for crying when we're angry just because society has told us that like we shouldn't, when really it's really natural, we gotta find a way to knock that off and show some self-compassion and self-love. But how did we get there to begin with? Let's go back to that toddler analogy. So let's say said toddler is throwing a temper tantrum and crying and screaming because they're so mad because they dropped their goldfish. Or because they asked for waffles, so you gave them waffles and then they didn't want waffles. How do most parents respond? Or how did most parents respond, back in our day? Stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. Why are you crying? It's just goldfish. Why are you being so ridiculous? You asked for waffles, I gave you waffles. Knock it off. And the more upset we get, the more angry our parent gets. It becomes like a power struggle, like a will of the emotions. And most parents won the battle by being the scariest. So we as a kid swallowed it down and silenced ourselves. And we sat in that anger or that rage with nowhere for that emotion to go. And let me tell you something about emotions. They're chemicals. So what do you think tears are? Our system gets flooded with a chemical and it's too much, and so it wants to get rid of it, and so it tries to get it out by crying. Your body doesn't care if it's anger or grief or sorrow, sadness, despair, rage, whatever. I think instead of trying to stop crying when we're angry, we need to stop giving a crap what everybody else thinks and go back to being a toddler, working with what feels natural to our system. Loving ourselves enough to say, I'm not going to swallow my emotions for your contentment. And while others see it as weakness, recognize that it's the strength to own how you feel and just feel it. Once you embrace it, it'll actually get easier. You'll have more control, but it's still okay to cry.